Yeah, man. Episode 10. We've made it to
Episode
10
10,
episodes in.
Thinking Out Loud.
It's everyone's saying, welcome back. I know haven't been on a hiatus, but usually it's like we do it every weekend.
Yeah, every week.
But yeah, we're gonna be better. So apologies for those like who've like kind of subscribed and you've been waiting on some content. But we're back, and today we're talking about masculinity. Like what that is, how that's changed for us, and more, what would I say, more so just like why is it such a, I mean, I know it defines, but like why do we have such a, like, why is it such a big issue with it? So I was watching that thing, I was not watching it, I was listening to that thing you talked about with the journalist.
Yeah, modern masculinity.
Yeah, and I listened to not all, but a few episodes. I think maybe like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4, and it was interesting because there's one in particular where she was like asking like some of the kids, like for them what masculinity means and stuff, and some of the stuff they were saying was quite interesting because I just remember it from like when I was kind of at their age. Like I would know I won't even be saying the stuff they're saying. So like one of the kids was like, masculinity for him is more of like just being like self-aware, like being in charge of your feelings.
Yeah.
Whereas like if you're like for like back in, I sound like a proper old, but back in like school days for me, like so like 14, 15, I would say if someone asks me what it means to be masculine, I'm like just being like, yeah, just being on stuff. So like, I mean, I wasn't on stuff. I wasn't like, but by definition, what I kind of saw around me was like people being on stuff. So it's like any sort of disrespect is met with violence, or like, like it's just about ego, innit? Are you gonna have that someone like kind of mocks you,
Yeah.
or does something disrespectful
when they cuss you or something.
Yeah, when they cuss you, or if you get like, because back then it was like, like we used to do like happy slapping. If you get slapped,
Yep.
it's like violence, and it's not. And I think what it is, especially when you're like 16 and them ages, it's more of a thing of like you don't want to be mocked. So like, and how to deal with things is more than just like aggressiveness, and like always being on some sort of like smoke. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like now, it's different. Like when you was in school, what was like masculinity to you?
Well, to be honest, masculinity was having money, dressing a certain way,
Yeah.
or just trying to get as many girls as possible, or even randomly talk to them after school if I'm with my friends, or
Yeah.
they would dare me to do something like, oh, go talk to that girl across the street, like there's things
Yeah.
like that,
But I think that's like kind of what was part of this whole what it means to be like as a boy when you're that age. What it means to be masculine is just like, what, just being cool in it. So being a guy, you're on. So like no one can take you for granted. You're on stuff. Like, yeah, the girls like you. You know what I'm saying? And what else? Just like, but I kind of feel like back then I wasn't really kind of looking at like other, like basically, like now obviously like there's kind of like masculine ideologies in the media. So like maybe
Yeah.
like figures who media might deem as masculine and stuff. Whereas back then in school, it wasn't me like looking at the media. It was more so just like around me, the environment.
Yeah.
So like with the environment, it was more sort of like people, like, okay, being aggressive, being like, and you know what? It's even weird. Not even like not being unique. So like if you are someone who's always like do your homework, you do all your books, that's considered like, yeah, you're just you're just kind of unique in it. But like, but the man that were on just like not even like that show that didn't take school seriously, like them guys that come with a pencil, that's it. There's no book.
They didn't take life
You
seriously.
know what I'm saying? Just come to class with a pencil and that, like, I mean, just like not on education and maybe good at football. I mean, so these all things were like kind of like, I feel like were genuinely what I would say like was masculine like back then. Whereas like now I think it's different. And now like if I ask you what's modern masculinity, what is that? Like to you now, like
probably being self-aware, like you said, having
Mm.
strength, courage, leadership, independence, taking initiative as well,
Mm.
like knowing what you want, like knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, knowing what you have to uh, like give to your like partner, or this for example.
Mm. I think because I was kind of having a not a debate with myself, but kind of like an interesting idea. Like, I feel like traditional masculinity and modern masculinity is. I feel like they're two different things, but I feel like we can never really fully get rid of the some traditional masculine like traits. I feel. I know like now it's different, where like like especially now with mental health being a lot more of a popular like topic now, and a thing where like it's normal for like guys to go to like guys to talk,
Yeah,
guys to like accept that they go through stuff and confide in someone, like like being emotionally intelligent is normal now. Whereas like back, well, in a traditional sense, like having any sort of like sort of any emotional sort of feelings that is not seen as like masculine.
yeah,
Like when I think of traditional masculinity, I just think of um like just being like aggressiveness, like leadership, and that's still kind of prevalent today and relevant. But it's the aspect of, I would say, like being aggressive is not. I mean, it's not like, I don't know how to describe it, but like being aggressive, yeah, is not something you can't really, like, I don't know how to put it. Like being aggressive is considered like masculine, like you're aggressive, but you can't be aggressive all the time.
yeah,
Like sometimes with some people, like a violation or some sort of disrespect or some sort of argument or altercation is always, the answer is always violence. But that's not the case. You can't be everywhere you go. You can't always be on violence. Like if someone, I don't know, if like you're at work now, your manager says something that you don't like, are you gonna punch up your manager?
no, you,
Do you know what I mean? Or even like, I get okay, even just everywhere you go, you can't always just be everything you think of. The answer is, yeah, I'm gonna punch. Like sometimes you have to just like think of your head and think, okay, what's the best way to respond? I'm not advocating for violence, but there might be some cases where what, it might lead to some sort of like fight, just depending on what the situation is, in it. But if you're naturally always a person who's always wants to be like angry all the time, or always want to deal with things with violence, when okay, but you got to assess it. Like, you got to think, okay, is this a violation, or is it not that deep? Like someone steps in your shoes now.
yeah, that's
Your
not,
white Air Forces
yeah,
back then.
it's not really a big deal to
It's
get
like,
to get
yeah, it's
angry
not a
about.
big, exactly. It's
But
not a big deal, but it's like for someone like who's always on smoke all the time. They're like, no, what? You just stepped on my fresh kicks. Like, what are you gonna? And back then, it's even like when you're in school, like, are you gonna have that?
yeah,
When
yeah,
listen,
I
when
remember when people used to say, "Oh, are you gonna take that, Ben?"
bro,
You know,
when someone says that, yeah, there's no way out, because it's like when they say, are you gonna have that? So that means, yeah, you have to do something. If you be like, no, I don't. Like, what? You can't have that. It's like people egging you on.
yeah,
So the minute they said that, you're gonna have that. But now it's not so much like peers. Like now, in this modern 2020, like something happens, no one's kind of telling you you're gonna have that. It just, you got to assess it on your own merit. Okay, cool. Is this? Am I gonna let this slide? Is this gonna be a big deal? You know. But I think for everyone it's different. Like like I can't say who's masculine or not man enough, or who's manly enough. Like it's different. But I get I feel like there's still some traditional um masculine, well, things that are deemed as masculine that I feel like will not go away. Like for example, I don't know about you, but like I see like from way back, it's always been this idea that men the head of the household. Of course now, yeah, women work, and there's some cases, some people, like maybe if that's the case, they still have, maybe the man's the only sole provider and woman, that's fine. But that's something I feel like will not kind of change. Like I see myself, okay, when I do have a family and whatnot, I want to be the head of the household. I want to be the provider. Not to say that my missus is not gonna like work or whatever, but it's just that kind of mentality. Like as the guy, you provide, you know. But I think that now it's more so like more of like I won't say we remixed the idea of masculinity, but it's different now. It's more so just about, okay, yeah, being the head of the household, but just being like maybe emotionally intelligent, just being a lot more. It's a lot. I don't know how to quite put it into words. It's a lot more different, but do you think that when it comes to traditional masculinity and modern masculinity, do you feel like it's two separate things, or it's kind of gelled into one? Just there's some aspects we take from traditional things that we kind of put into here, and vice versa. Like,
I feel like they're both similar, but they're not the same. Like you said early on, because I don't know. Some people like to put traditional masculinity as some toxic thing that, oh, that, oh man, I've got to be strong. They can't be weak
yeah,
or
yeah,
or show any kind of emotion. So
mm,
I don't know. I think it's people's perceptions of masculinity, like what they see on the media or TV, or even James Bond as well. Like people
mm,
want to be that that alpha male because he's wearing a suit and
yeah,
glasses. So I think that's the kind of thing that men are like see on like film. So that's
mm.
who they want to aspire to be.
Did you have anyone like growing up that you kind of not looked up to, but thought, yeah, I want to be like that, like this person, or is there anyone you, ever as a celebrity or just someone that you had in your environment at the time?
Hmm. Probably David Beckham for some reason. I don't know why, because obviously he gets a lot of like respect, and obviously a lot of boys look up to him as well. So I
Mm,
think that's the ideal figure of what it means to be a man. So it's to have all the clothes, the money,
yeah,
having a sustainable, like career in football. So I think that's people's ideal image of
mm. I don't
masculinity.
I don't know if I had one, but I think from, like I said, my thing was just more so just around me, like, so like in school, I'm looking at those around me. So don't, like, for example, the people that were on smoke or aggressive, or like just like got all the girls. I thought, okay, that's what it is, and that's what masculinity is about, being like these men.
Yeah,
But you realize, like, listen, I'm not even on smoke like that. Like, and the thing is, like, these men are busy, like, just getting in trouble, like fights, and I was too busy writing love letters. like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I wasn't,
To who?
you know what I'm saying, to the girls I fancied at the time. That was, so I
Oh,
wasn't really on. I wasn't
that's
really on, like, just, yeah, I'm gonna, like, I'm this aggressive guy. I'm like these man, like, this is like, I'm like masculine too. Like, I didn't really see it like that, because, but then after a while when you grow up, you kind of just, you just kind of form your own identity in it. It's not so much like back then. It was more so trying to be like what everyone else is, but nowadays it's different. It's just your own man. It's not about trying to be like this guy, that person. And it doesn't say you can't have influences or people that you aspire to emulate in some capacity, but I just feel like now it's different. Like, and if I'm honest, yeah, when it comes to this whole masculinity thing, people always moving the goalposts anyway. One minute it's like, you're not a man if you don't do this. You're not a man if you don't do this. So it's like, are we gonna just keep trying to catch up with the so-called definitions? Like, 'cause one minute is this, being a man is this, what next
yeah,
minute is that. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I think it's got to get to a level where you're just comfortable in your own, like, own skin in it. Like, I mean, I'm a man. If someone can tell me otherwise, but okay, cool, that's fine. That's what you think in it, because someone saying I'm not a man is, they're basing that on their perceptions, what they kind of perceive to be a man. But someone else might say I'm a man because of ABC. Do you know what I mean? Someone might say I'm a man because, I'm vocal, I can express my feelings. Someone else might be like, no, that's not really for me. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
That's
different.
true.
So it's
Yeah,
like, are you gonna keep worrying about what other people say? Like, so it's like with you as well. Some people say, oh, Ben, you're a man because you do X, Y, Z, or you're not a man because you don't do, like, it's gonna keep tiring. But I think one thing I kind of wanted to touch on, and like not sort of like run off with, but I feel like this whole, like, being a man, being strong, like being a black man is like kind of, you're considered to be, what can I see is that it's like synonymous it's kind of equates to being strong, being, like, not showing any weakness or emotion. And I don't have a problem with that, but the only problem I have with that is like, okay, like, because people think, oh, you're just strong person, that you can't also show emotion. You can't also like because you're human as well in it. But I think sometimes with that, it's kind of like the whole thing with the strong black woman. Because she's a strong black woman, she can take it. She can take anything. But okay, she's strong. Yeah, she can be a strong black woman, but it doesn't mean she has to endure like just suffering for the sake of it because she's strong. You see what I'm saying? So same way with us guys, because we're this whole idea of the strong black man, we must just like firm everything. No, but it's like we're not robots. Do you know what I mean? Like if you cut me, it's not gonna be wire and just bare static that's gonna come out. I'm gonna bleed in it. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm human. So I think sometimes like I get it. Like some might see it as a problem being this whole like strong, like black people are strong, or the black man is strong. But you can be strong but at the same time you can also have emotions, have feelings, and show that, express that.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
So
think too many people put not that I'm saying all people, but some they put black men on like a big pedestal, so we have to act a certain way or an image
yeah,
to be accepted by some, but we can still have like, emotions,
listen, like, I mean,
We're not perfect.
like this is it. Like it's not. We're not robots. We're humans, and we can have feelings about like what I think we can. What my point is that I feel like we should be able to have feelings without it being ridiculed or seen as, oh, why you're moaning about that? Like, listen, it's fine. Because like I feel like with men and women, like traditionally, like I won't say women are more emotional, but it's kind of like that's kind of like the sort of the idea, like from way back when it comes to masculinity and femininity, that women are the emotional beings, whereas men are the you know stiff upper lip, don't talk, just
Iron Man,
yeah,
so
do you know what I
sign,
mean?
yeah.
We just get on with it, do what needs to be done, But I think sometimes, like I said, we're living in a different time now. Like I said, modern masculinity is different. It's not gonna just be you can. I'm not saying that we still work, we still like provide, but it's different. It's not just as simplistic as just being aggressive. Oh, that's it. Being aggressive, being not showing emotions. Because listen, like when I keep reading something, like men commit suicide, men go through emotions too. Like men suffer in silence. We always heard it all the time, men suffer in silence. It's a real thing, like, and obviously we don't want it to be any of us. I don't want it to be you. I don't want it to be me. So it's just like having that safe space. Having that kind of the right people. You know, like and like yeah, like I said, you're masculine. If who can tell you anything different, and if they tell you anything different, they're basing it on everything is based on ideals in it, like from somewhere, whether it's media, whether it's from how they've been brought up.
I even remember going to the Man Talk.
Mm,
It was like a year ago, so obviously Dave invited me
yeah.
to come to like the show and see. And
Mm,
obviously, I think what the really great thing about the Man Talk was like a lot of men were very vulnerable. So
yeah. That
obviously,
I loved that
it's
event,
probably
man.
the best feeling when you're in an environment and you can just be yourself and
Mm,
literally talk about issues that you wouldn't usually talk about in front
yeah.
of your friends or or family, because obviously I think people don't want to feel like that they're being judged, that I'm going through this issue, but
Mm,
and obviously it's okay to say in a man talk, because obviously everyone is a guy, and obviously we're all going through
yeah. Exactly. So you can just say what
issues.
you want without any, like, back to what I said in the last episode, without any judgment. Like,
Yeah,
just be free. Like, and that's what I mean. That's what it is, man. Like I said, I mean, with this topic, I think it's always gonna be one that's always at the forefront, like with us, because essentially we're men in it. So like a large part of us identity is what it means to be a man, and it's like if you feel like you don't meet that, you're gonna have some sort of insecurities in it, you know. But yeah, it's different, man. But I think it's just about not worrying about what others think. Um, Masculinity changes all the time, and like I said before, like with that I don't know if it's a documentary, but the journalist that done like a little what's a documentary? Imran, what's her name? Imran.
um
I forget her name, but yeah. Anyway, but like watching that was quite interesting because you see a different takes on what people feel like, and more time it's not even a lot of people saying, "Oh, being strong, being like And it's good, interesting to see like, how those kids were like, you know what, being a man is more than just like fighting or aggressiveness. Like,
Yeah,
because when they grow up, they're gonna that would be normalized. Whereas with us, when we was growing up, that wasn't the case.
yeah, it wasn't the case back
So
then.
it's good.
Yeah. And I think another thing I would probably say is in one of the episodes, like I remember watching one in a barber shop.
I don't think I saw that one. The slider cut.
Oh no, it wasn't Slider Cuts. It was another guy, but I forgot his name. And so basically, he said one good thing about how men should take ownership
Mm,
and have responsibility as well as meaning in life. If they want to like help other people, like they need to have meaning first
mm,
before they can help other men as well, like to be men.
yeah,
So I think, and then that's when they can work collectively as a group. So obviously, if you want to help someone in the world, it's got to start with you.
yeah, yeah.
You know, you got to find your inspiration, your story. You know, why you're here. You know, what am I supposed to do, and and what do I aim to do in the next few years
Mm.
as well.
Definitely. I think that's a good point. Just taking ownership, just being accountable for your actions and just yourself, man. Because at the end of the day, like, and I think that's one thing as well. I will kind of add to the mix. I don't know if it's an official trait of being a man, but just being like only like without being too blunt, just own your shit in the terms of like, be accountable for yourself. If you've done something wrong, realize that, or so someone else realize that, own it, and just rather than deflecting or not one, because if you've done something wrong, I hold my hands up. I've done something wrong. I can
Yeah,
say that there's no problem with that, and I think not to say that people don't do it, but I think it's more so just something that I've kind of learned to do a lot more. Like, listen, be accountable, man. Don't always kind of blame others for things, and and just accept what you can control, and the things you can't, you just leave it as
yeah,
that.
just
Just
leave it. Yeah,
don't have any sort of animosity with it. Just leave it as that. It's out of your control. You know, but that's a wrap. That's a wrap from us. As always, thank you for listening.
thank you. Yeah,
Apologies for the I don't know what that noise was, but yeah, but I'm sure you've caught most of our message today, and any sort of comments or anything you want to say in regards to today's topic, um, contact us on thinkingoutloud@mail.com or Instagram thinkingoutloudpod_. And as always, thank you for listening. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. As I said before, I haven't done it yet, but we're going to be on more platforms, such as SoundCloud, maybe,
Google Podcasts.
yeah,
Yeah,
that, and maybe Deezer. So we're working on that. But as always, thank you for listening, and you guys take care.
have a great week, everyone.